Once a beloved schoolteacher, Luna's life unraveled after losing her daughter to a devastating illness. Destitute and hopeless, she meets a stranger who offers her refuge. Before we begin the story, comment below what the city you're watching from. Enjoy the story, everyone! Luna sat quietly under the dim light of a flickering street lamp. The cold wind whipped through her thin coat as she hugged herself tightly, trying to keep warm. Her once vibrant eyes were now hollow, as if very essence of her soul had been drained, leaving behind only the weight of a mother's unspeakable loss. Life had been unkind to her. Once, Luna was a beloved schoolteacher, known for her kind heart and patience, but tragedy struck when her only daughter, Riley, fell gravely ill. Despite her best efforts and countless sleepless nights caring for Riley, Luna couldn't save her. The loss shattered the world of the single mother, leaving her not only emotionally devastated, but also financially drained by the enormous medical bills. Homeless and without a place to call her own, Luna wandered from one temporary shelter to another, carrying only Riley's old, worn-out diary, a precious keepsake that reminded her of the cheerful, curious little girl who once filled her days with laughter. Losing her daughter was a pain too overwhelming to bear, leaving her unable to return to teaching. One fateful evening, as the rain poured mercilessly, Luna sat on a park bench, drenched and trembling. She gazed into the distance, wondering if life still held anything meaningful for her. The storm raged on, thunder rumbling across the darkened sky. Luna huddled on the bench, her wet hair plastered to her face. She was too tired to care about the cold or the rain. The numbness inside her heart made the storm feel insignificant. A sleek black car suddenly pulled up near her, its headlights cutting through the rain and casting long shadows across the park. The driver's door opened, and out stepped a tall man with an umbrella. His sharp features were softened by a look of genuine concern as he approached her. "Are you all right?" the man asked, his voice calm yet commanding. Luna looked up, her body shivering too hard to respond. She shook her head, unable to find the words to explain her situation. The man crouched to her level. "You shouldn't be out here in this weather. Please, let me help you." At first, Luna hesitated. The shadows of her past made it hard to trust anyone, especially someone so polished and seemingly untouched by hardship. But as she looked into his eyes, she saw not pity, but genuine concern. With a weak nod, she allowed him to help her to her feet. The man introduced himself as Leo, a reclusive businessman who rarely ventured out in public. He didn't explain why he was there that night, only that he couldn't leave her in the rain. Luna, too exhausted to question further, let him guide her into his car. As they drove through the city, Leo's reserved demeanor softened. He asked Luna about her situation, but she gave only brief answers, ashamed of how far she had fallen. Yet, Leo didn't judge her. Instead, he assured her that she was safe and offered her a warm place to stay for the night. When they arrived at Leo's sprawling mansion on the edge of the city, Luna was overwhelmed. The grandeur of the place, its towering ceilings, marble floors, and elegant furnishings, stood in stark contrast to the harsh reality she had been facing. She barely noticed as a young girl, no older than 10, piqued curiosity around the corner. "Nova?" Leo said gently. "This is Luna. She'll be staying with us for a while." Nova nodded shyly before retreating to her room, leaving Luna to wonder about the child. She didn't realize yet that Nova would soon become the center of her life. The morning light streamed through the large windows, casting a warm glow across the living room. Luna sat quietly on the plush sofa, sipping a cup of tea that Leo's staff had brought her. She felt out of place in the mansion's opulence, but the kindness she had received began to chip away at her initial unease. Her thoughts were interrupted by soft footsteps. She turned to see Nova, Leo's daughter, standing hesitantly in the doorway. The girl clutched a stuffed rabbit tightly to her chest, her wide eyes filled with curiosity and a hint of nervousness. "Hi," Luna said gently, offering a small smile. Nova took a tentative step forward. "Are you staying here now?" "For a little while," Luna replied. "Your dad was kind enough to help me last night." Nova studied her for a moment before sitting on the carpet nearby, still holding the stuffed rabbit. There was a quiet vulnerability about her that reminded Luna of Riley. She felt an instant connection, though she didn't yet understand why. As the days passed, Luna began to notice subtle signs that something was wrong with Nova. The girl often looked pale and tired, and she would occasionally clutch her chest as if in discomfort. Luna's instinct as a mother kicked in. The symptoms mirrored those Riley had shown during her illness, and it sent a sharp pang through her heart, as if the wounds of her past had been torn open once more. One afternoon, while Leo was in his study, Luna found Nova sitting in the garden, her breathing labored. She rushed to the child's side and knelt down. "Nova, are you okay?" Luna asked, her voice trembling. Nova nodded weakly, but winced as another wave of pain washed over her. Without thinking, Luna scooped the girl into her arms and carried her inside, calling out for help. Leo appeared almost instantly, his face pale with fear. "What's wrong?" "She needs a doctor," Luna said firmly. "Now." Leo wasted no time. Within minutes, a private physician arrived and began examining Nova. As the doctor worked, Luna stood by, her hands trembling. Memories of Riley flooded her mind. When the examination was over, the doctor pulled Leo aside. Luna caught fragments of their conversation: unclear diagnosis, monitor closely, and potential complications. Leo's expressions darkened, and Luna's heart ached for both him and Nova. That evening, Leo confided in Luna. "Nova's been unwell for a while," he admitted, his voice heavy with guilt. "I've tried everything, specialists, treatments, but nothing has worked. I don't know what else to do." Luna placed a reassuring hand on his arm. "I've seen these symptoms before," she said softly. "My daughter Riley had something similar. I can help if you let me." Leo looked at her, his guarded exterior crumbling in that moment. He realized that Luna wasn't just a guest in his home. She was someone who could bring hope and understanding to a situation he had felt powerless to control. Over the following weeks, Luna devoted herself to Nova's care. She stayed by the girl's side, helping her through the difficult days and teaching Leo how to recognize and respond to the symptoms. Slowly but surely, Nova began to trust Luna, and the bond between them grew stronger. For Luna, Nova became more than just a child in need. She became a reminder of the love Luna had shared with Riley and a chance to channel her grief into something meaningful. Weeks turned into months, and Luna became an integral part of the household. Nova's condition had stabilized under her care, but it was clear to everyone that the young girl wasn't out of danger. Despite Leo's relentless efforts to find a solution, the doctor continued to deliver the same frustrating answer: no diagnosis, no definitive treatment. One evening, Luna sat at the dining table with Leo after Nova had gone to bed. The usually stoic man seemed more vulnerable than ever. His shoulders slumped, his face etched with worry. "I feel like I'm failing her," Leo admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "All the money, all the resources, and I still can't save my own daughter." Luna reached down and touched his hand. "You're doing everything you can, Leo. But maybe there's something more we haven't considered." The next morning, Leo received a call from a renowned specialist he had consulted months ago. The doctor had finally reviewed Nova's case in depth and identified a rare genetic condition. There was hope, but it came with a catch. Nova's condition required an organ transplant, and finding a suitable donor would be nearly impossible given her rare blood type. The odds of finding a match were slim, and time was running out. Leo's heart sank as he shared the doctor's grim news with Luna. But then she suddenly froze. Luna swallowed hard. I have the same rare blood type as your daughter." Leo stared at her in shock. "Are you sure?" Luna nodded firmly. "I want to get tested. Maybe there's still a miracle." The next morning, she underwent the test. Hours of tense waiting passed until the doctor finally returned, his expression unreadable at first. Then, with quiet astonishment, he said, "You're a perfect match." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Leo looked at her, his expressions a mixture of gratitude and fear. "You're willing to do this? To risk your life for Nova?" Luna took a deep breath. "I've already lost one child, Leo. I can't stand by and lose another, not when I can help." The days that followed were filled with quiet tension. Luna grappled with the enormity of her decision. Memories of Riley flooded her mind, her laughter, her strength, her last moments. She thought of Nova, the way her eyes lit up when she talked about her favorite stories, the way she clung to Luna when she felt scared. One night, as Luna sat in the garden, Leo joined her. He had barely spoken since the test results came back, struggling with the weight of the situation. "I don't know if I can let you do this," he said, his voice raw with emotion. "I've already asked too much of you." Luna turned to him, her expression resolute. You haven't asked for anything, Leo. This is my choice. Nova deserves a chance to live, to grow up, to have a future, and if I can give her that, then it's worth it. Leo's eyes glistened with unshed tears. For a man who had always been in control, this was a moment of profound vulnerability. Thank you, he whispered. The decision was made, but the fear lingered. Luna knew the risk, knew that the procedure could cost her life, but she also knew that the love she had for Riley, the love she now felt for Nova, was stronger than her fear. On the day of the operation, as Luna was being prepped in the hospital, Nova clung to her hand. "You're not going to leave me, are you?" the little girl asked, her voice trembling. Luna smiled softly, brushing a strand of hair from Nova's face. "I'm going to do everything I can to stay with you, sweetheart, I promise." As they wheeled into their operating room, Luna closed her eyes, her heart filled with both fear and hope. Whatever happened next, she knew she was doing the right thing. The operating room buzzed with urgency. Luna lay still on the surgical table, the bright overhead lights glaring down on her, yet her mind remained remarkably calm. She knew the risk ahead, but she had no doubts about her decision. This was her chance to save Nova, something she had once desperately wished to do for her own daughter. Back then, she had been hopeless. Her organs weren't a match, and she lacked the means to find a suitable donor. In another room, Nova lay under sedation, waiting for the organ that could save her life. Leo paced anxiously in the waiting area, his usual composed demeanor shattered by the weight of uncertainty. Finally, the lead surgeon emerged, removing his mask. "The procedure was successful," he said with a tired but reassuring smile. "Both Luna and Nova are stable." Leo exhaled, his hands trembling with relief. The operation was over, but the road to recovery was just beginning. Luna woke up 2 days later in a sunlit hospital room. Her body ached, but she felt a deep sense of fulfillment. As her eyes adjusted to the light, she saw Leo sitting by her bedside. He looked exhausted, his suit wrinkled, but his face lit up when he saw her stir. "Luna," he said softly, leaning forward. "You're awake. How's Nova?" Luna asked, her voice weak but steady. "She's going to be okay," Leo said, his voice thick with emotion. "Thanks to you." Tears welled up in Luna's eyes as relief washed over her. "I'm so glad," she whispered. For weeks, both Luna and Nova remained under close medical supervision. Luna's recovery was slower, her body adjusting to the strain of the procedure, but Leo was always there, ensuring she had everything she needed. Meanwhile, Nova regained her strength faster than anyone had expected. One afternoon, Nova visited Luna's room, her face beaming with light. She climbed onto the chair beside the bed and held Luna's hand. "You're my hero," Nova said, her voice full of gratitude. Luna smiled, squeezing the girl's hands gently. "You're pretty brave yourself, kiddo." In an unexpected turn, Luna's recovery accelerated after Leo consulted with a team of researchers he had been funding for years. They proposed a groundbreaking experimental treatment that could aid Luna's healing process. Despite her initial hesitation, Leo convinced her to give it a try. The treatment worked, and Luna's body began to heal faster than the doctors anticipated. The medical team called it a miracle, but Luna believed it was a testament to the combined power of science and determination. One crisp autumn day, Luna stood in the garden of Leo's mansion, watching Nova chase butterflies with the energy of a child who had been given a second chance at life. Leo joined her, his hands tucked into his pockets. "She wouldn't be here without you," he said quietly. Luna turned to him, her eyes warm. "She wouldn't be here without you either, Leo. You never gave up on her." For a moment, they stood in silence, the weight of everything they had endured settling into the stillness around them. They both knew this wasn't just a story of survival. It was a story of love, sacrifice, and the power of hope. Life at Leo's mansion slowly returned to a peaceful rhythm. Luna had fully recovered, and Nova's health flourished more with each passing day. The once quiet house was now filled with laughter and warmth. As weeks turned into months, Luna and Leo grew closer. They found solace in each other's company, sharing their fears, hopes, and dreams. What began as gratitude and respect soon blossomed into something deeper, a connection built on trust and shared purpose. A year after the surgery, Leo surprised Luna with a heartfelt gesture. It was a crisp spring evening, and the garden was alight with soft fairy lights. Leo invited Luna and Nova for what seemed like a simple dinner. But as dessert was served, He rose from his chair, his hands trembling slightly. "Luna," he began, his voice steady despite the emotion swirling within him. "You walked into our lives at a time when hope seemed out of reach. You didn't just save Nova, you saved me. You've brought love and light back into this home, and I can't imagine a future without you in it." Luna's breath caught in her throat as Leo knelt, revealing a delicate ring in a small velvet box. "Will you marry me?" he asked, his eyes filled with both vulnerability and certainty. Tears streamed down Luna's cheeks as she nodded. "Yes," she whispered, her voice trembling with joy. Nova clapped her hands excitedly, running over to hug them both. "Does this mean we're a family now?" she asked, her eyes wide with happiness. Luna smiled, pulling Nova into her arms. "We've always been a family," she said, her heart full. 2 years later, Luna and Leo welcomed a new addition to their family, a baby boy with bright, curious eyes. They named him Ethan. Nova adored her little brother, doting on him at every opportunity. For Luna, Ethan symbolized a new beginning, a ray of light breaking through the shadows of her past. For Leo, he was a reminder of the love and strength they had brought their family together. And for Nova, he was a gift, a little brother who filled their home with laughter and boundless joy. Together, Luna, Leo, Nova, and Ethan built a life rooted in love and shared purpose. To honor their journey, Leo and Luna founded the Hope and Healing Center, a facility dedicated to providing medical support and emotional care for families in crisis. Luna poured her heart into the center, ensuring that no family would ever feel as lost or hopeless as she once had. The story didn't end with a single act of heroism, but with the legacy of compassion. As Luna stood with Leo and their children at the grand opening of the center, she realized how far they had come. What began as a chance encounter on a stormy night had transformed into a journey of healing, hope, and the creation of a family bond, not just by blood, but by love. Thank you for joining us on this heartfelt journey. Luna and Leo's story is a powerful reminder of the strength found in love, hope, and second chances. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like this video and share it with someone who might need a little inspiration today. For more stories like this, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next video.